The first thing you'll notice about Arles is just how darn pretty it is. Sunny yellow buildings with bright blue shutters, perky pink flowers, and cute little cafes where whiling away an afternoon without your cell phone is the dreamiest of experiences. It's no surprise that one of the most famous artists in history was inspired here. Vincent van Gogh moved from Paris to Provence in 1888 for the light and the color. He lived here in Arles for only 2 years, but in that short period of time, he painted dozens of landscapes, still lifes, his yellow house, his yellow bedroom, with that wonderfully wonky perspective, his friends, including the postman, and those iconic sunflowers. And the wonderful thing is that today you can walk along the Van Gogh route with little plaques marking the exact spots where he painted those famous works. This scene you probably recognize. It is, of course, the inspiration for Van Gogh's Cafe Terrace at night, with those beautiful, bright yellows that kind of lit up the night and then complemented by his beautiful night skies with those gorgeous little swirly stars, the same type that he used in The Starry Night. But even though Cafe Terrace at night is, of course, set at night, Van Gogh never used any black in his night sky. That is because he believed that the night was more alive and color-filled than the day. Something you may not know about this fascinating painting is that inside the cafe, in the painting, there are exactly 12 people. And the one person in the center is a little bit taller than the rest and has long hair. And behind that center person is a window with the window pane almost looking like a cross. So some art historians believe that this painting is actually inspired by Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. It's an interesting theory. While the composition isn't the same between the two paintings, the figures could be. You can see those 12 figures surrounding a 13th figure in the center, standing taller than the rest. With that window in the back, that could be interpreted as a cross. Next, from a cafe terrace at night to those iconic starry stars at night, we mosey from the city squares over to the Rhone River for the inspiration of one of Van Gogh's most famous paintings. In 1889, Van Gogh stood here on Place Lamartine to paint one of his most famous works, The Starry Night over the Rhone, not to be confused with The Starry Night, which he painted a bit later. Van Gogh chose this spot because he lived in his famous yellow house just a few minutes away, and also because this was a really great spot to kind of work out his obsession. And that obsession, of course, was light breaking through the darkness of night. And from this spot, he could see light from two different sources, one nature-made and one man-made. Let's talk about the man-made one first. If you can see that bridge over my shoulder here, in 1889, for the first time, we had this crazy invention called gas lighting. And there were gas street lamps all along the bridge and also all along the walkway here along the river bend. So he kind of played with that light as it reflected on the water. That second source that he's really famous for were those swirly, twirly, wonderful stars up in the night sky. So he took those stars, made them bright, bright yellow, and reflected those on the water as well. Soon after he painted this painting, as we know, he entered a mental asylum, but there is hope to be found in this particular work of art. In the bottom corner, right here along the river's edge, we see a happy couple. Well, at least we think they're happy. And of course, happiness was something that eluded poor Van Gogh, as he will be forever known as the quintessential tortured artist. Which brings us to our last painting location, a garden in the courtyard of a hospital. We all know the story. Van Gogh, the tortured artist, the mad genius, cut off his ear in a fit of passion. Now, whether it was the entire ear or the tip of the ear or his ear lobe, we do know he wasn't just trying to pierce his ear for an earring. We also don't know the reason why he did this, and the theories are all over the place. Everything from getting into an argument with his fellow artist Paul Gauguin, or being really upset that his brother Theo was getting married, or perhaps everyone's favorite, that he actually cut it off to give as a gift, I know, totally gross, to his girlfriend or to a prostitute. What we do know is that this was the hotel where he received treatment, l'Hôtel de Dieu. Now, while he was recovering, he still continued to paint, still obsessed with the beauty of the light and all those yellows and the sunshine here of beautiful Arles. And this was the garden that he painted in the courtyard, called Le Jardin de l'Hôtel de Dieu. And in honor of Van Gogh, to this day, the garden is kept just as it was when he was here. After Van Gogh checks out of the hospital, he eventually leaves Arles and goes to nearby Saint Remy, where he checks in to a mental hospital. It was there that he created his famous cypresses, his famous irises, and his most famous work, Starry Night. With those signature swirling skies and moody atmosphere, interpretations of this work have been everything from life and death to simply hope.